March 20th, 1995, Tokyo, Japan. 5 men board 5 different subway trains during the busy morning rush hour. Each carried a plastic bag wrapped in newspaper, which contained a clear liquid, as well as an umbrella with a sharpened tip. What followed was the most deadly bioterror attack in modern Japanese history. The attack was the culmination of several assassinations and terrorist attacks, planned by the leader of a religious cult called Aum Shinrikyo. Aum Shinrikyo began with a nearly blind 40-year-old yoga teacher named Shoko Asahara. Shoko used his charismatic personality to manipulate others into doing things for him. He used a mixture of Buddhist, Hindu, Taoist, and Christian beliefs to form his own following. He garnered tens of thousands of followers over the years, but slowly became more radicalized, with his mental health deteriorating and many of his followers later condemning him altogether, although he still had a small group of radical followers. Shoko taught that the material world is intrinsically dark, and just by living in it without spirituality, you are gaining bad karma. Followers of Shoko were forced to cut off all links to the outside world to avoid bad karma and going to hell. He preached that non-believers were subject to the material world, and the longer they were vulnerable, the worse karma they would have before death and being sent to hell. Once there, the worse their karma, the longer their stay in hell, and the worse their rebirth would be. Ultimately convincing his followers that the only way to save the rest of the world from falling into hell was for those who were not enlightened to die. Attacks began to occur against lawyers, judges, and politicians who opposed Aum Shinrikyo. There was a spike in disappearances as they began to kidnap, murder, and use poisonous gas to assassinate adversaries. This got the police's attention, and they launched an investigation and planned a raid on the Aum Shinrikyo's compound on March 22nd. However, the group caught wind of the raid and decided to launch a preliminary attack on the Japanese public. At around 7 a.m. on March 20th, 1995, 5 radical followers of Shoko Asahara boarded 5 separate trains carrying plastic bags which contained around 30 ounces of liquid sarin. They then dropped the bags onto the ground of the train and used umbrellas with specially sharpened tips to puncture the bags. After puncturing the bags, each of the men got off their train and met a getaway car at the surface, leaving the sarin to leak out onto the trains. Sarin is a deadly nerve agent which converts to gas once exposed to air and causes seizures, brain damage, loss of vision, and respiratory failure. Some passengers took newspaper out of nearby trash cans and tried to clean the liquid sarin off the ground by hand. The closest passengers immediately became victims to the quickly evaporating gas. Some of the lines were quickly evacuated, but before they knew the severity of the situation, many subway workers entered to clean up the mess, 2 of which died after attempting to dispose of the sarin bags. Many people were rushed to the hospital with severe symptoms. Some people went on with their day and even went to work sick, their clothes contaminated with sarin, which affected even more people. Nearly 6,000 people were hospitalized. The total death toll was 13. The police quickly connected the attacks back to Aum Shinrikyo, and the planned raid on their compound was carried out on schedule. In total, over a dozen people were arrested, including Shoko Asahara. Only one of the suspects showed any signs of remorse for the attack, and for this, he was given a life sentence. All of the others were sentenced to death by hanging. If you thought that video was interesting, please support the channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. And as always, thank you for watching.